The Ghost in the Shell is an incredibly popular anime, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan. Even if you haven't watched any of the films or the series, or read the manga, you can probably imagine why this upcoming series is such a big deal. Created by Masamune Shirow, the original manga series gained its worldwide fame through Mamoru Oshii's 1995 film of the same name, and ever since, the franchise has grown by creating countless films and series adaptations, but none of them fully focused on the entire storyline. Even though Mamoru Oshii was inspired by the manga, he only took the premise and completely reimagined the story in his own way. But decades later, we're finally receiving a fresh new anime series which is going to follow the original manga quite faithfully. The official trailer is out, and we can already make out the modernized version of some classic visuals from the manga. So I thought in today's video I should share a complete breakdown of the series' production details and see what we can expect from it. So without further ado, let's get started. So what exactly is this new Ghost in the Shell series? The 2026 Ghost in the Shell, also known as Kokaku Kitodai in Japanese, is a brand new anime series that's going to exist in an alternate setting, without any connections to the prior movies whatsoever. It's not going to be a sequel series to the standalone complex, nor is it connected with the Arise OVA, and it's most certainly not related to the Hollywood 2017 live-action slop, which was mostly notorious for being the most whitewashed version of the manga. Science Saru is the main production head, who's worked alongside a very capable committee of producers, like Production IG, the long-standing legacy studio behind this project, Bandai Namco Filmworks, and Kodansha. Amazon Prime Video is going to handle the global distribution, so as I said, it's a huge deal for millions of fans across the globe who've waited all these decades for a genuine adaptation of the manga. What's the core story and how faithful is it to Shirow's manga? When Mamoru Oshii adapted the manga, he avoided the comedic elements from the series because his vision of Ghost in the Shell was philosophical and bleak. Well, you can obviously find the bleakness in the source material, but it also gives you some really witty and at times out-of-pocket comic relief. But before I dive into the details of the series, let's take a quick revisit of the manga storyline. Set in the futuristic timeline of 2029, in a hyper-networked Japan, the story follows a full-body cyborg named Motoko Kusanagi, belonging to a world that is fully covered in an artificially intelligent and technologically advanced matrix, causing the people to go through cybernetic developments such as cyberbrains. This technology allows them to create an interface that connects their actual brains with various networks. The entire manga deals with a bunch of themes simultaneously, but at the core of it, there's only one single question. If a human body can be replaced by artificial parts, then what actually makes you human? Motoko looks for the answer throughout the manga run, but her life revolves around all kinds of conspiracies. Daisuke Aramaki, the chief of Public Security Section 9, hires her to run this elite team of investigators. She and her most loyal partner, Bato, investigate all of the cyber terrorism and political conspiracies. While running an investigation, they finally come across the ultimate villain of the story, a hacker going by the name of Puppet Master, who's actually an AI residing within a robot, notorious for hacking into people's brains. As far as I can infer from the official trailer, there's a great deal of direct comic reference. Speaking of the trailer, I can't help but start with the catchiest jazz soundtrack created by Ryo Konoshi. And the best news so far is that Masamune Shirow is closely involved with the project, overseeing a lot of creative decisions under the direction of Moko-chan and the Science Saru team, as per the producer Kohei Sakita. He also spoke about Injo Eto, the sci-fi author who wrote Shadow.net, from the collection of Ghost in the Shell short stories, working on the script and composition of the series. The trailer opens with some glitches and a few lines popping up on the screen that you can find on the very first page of the original manga. As the trailer began, I was so excited to see a panel-to-panel adaptation from the manga. You can find some glimpses of the Major's early missions, like the Sacred Citizen Relief Center investigation or the sanitation workers stakeout. The series also includes some of the chasing scenes from the manga, but it seems like they have extended and reimagined them by making them more vibrant and have infused a lot more cyberpunk aesthetics. I'm confident that Bato will probably be the craziest and goofiest character in the series, just like he was in the original manga. So yeah, the trailer looks promising indeed, and after noticing all the parallels from the manga, I think the hype is pretty worth it. Who's making this? Meet the creative team and studio. Okay, so now let's talk about the main creative team behind the project, because a film's true potential can only be measured by how talented and dedicated the people behind the scenes are. So first of all, I'm gonna start with Science Saru, who has given us Dan Da Dan and Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. They're well known for relying on a highly kinetic style of classic animation, where the panels are hand-drawn and absolutely no generative AI. Their design is highly expressive and saturated, making every frame look like a futuristic Renaissance painting. The reason behind these saturated and vibrant colors is the director of the series, Moko-chan, aka Toma Kimura, who specializes in high saturation and high kinetics. You can probably recall his works if you've seen Scott Pilgrim Takes Off and Dan Da Dan, but the upcoming series is going to be his directorial debut. For the script and composition, we got Injo Ito, who, as I just said, wrote a short story called Shadow.net. He created the blueprint of the entire season and was involved in writing the dialogues. As a writer, Injo excels in the sci-fi genre, making him a highly competent choice. He also has written scripts for Godzilla Singular Point and Space Dandy. For the character designs, we've got Shuhei Handa, who's also heading the animation team, Emi Katonosaka as the art director, and Yuji Tange as the sound director. The team behind the phenomenal soundtrack includes Taisei Iwasaki, Yuki Kanesaka, and the jazz specialist Ryo Konishi. Together, they did an incredible job on the background score and the music that aptly goes with the cyberpunk visuals of the trailer. Who's in the cast and which versions will fans hear? The Ghost in the Shell has recently lost one of its most precious gems from their team, Atsuko Tanaka, the official voice of Motoko Kusanagi, so they had to make a tough decision when it came to passing the mantle of this legendary character. Thus, Maya Sakamoto became the pick, as she had previously voiced the young Major in the 1995 film and gave her voice to the Arise series, and it only makes sense that Maya Sakamoto lends her voice to the adult Kusanagi in the upcoming series. Apart from the lead, we got Hiroki Yasumoto voicing Bato, Kazuhiro Yamaji voicing Aramaki, Yuichi Nakamura as Togusa, Kosuke Goto as Ichikawa, and Toru Nara as Saito. The international voice cast also sounds stunning, as it includes fresh new talent like Suzy Young voicing the Major, Bill Butts as Bato, Sungwon Cho as Aramaki, and many others like Nick Apostolides, John Eric Bentley, and Tony Weaver Jr. While we're surely going to miss the legacy actress Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, who had been lending her voice to Motoko, I'm still excited to watch the English dub for 15 minutes just to see how they sound, before turning on the Japanese dub because I'm a person of culture. From announcement to Anime Japan and Annecy, how the production journey unfolded. The production journey of Ghost in the Shell was pretty carefully planned. Earlier this year on January 30th, the anime launched its official website and social media accounts. Also, there was an exhibition held at Tokyo Node in Toranomon Hills, where fans saw the very first look on the show's promo and some main visuals. Then in late March at Anime Japan 2026, Saru revealed another visual made by the character designer Shuhei Handa, and it came with a teaser of 43 seconds. By June 22nd, the international promo began as the team held a 90-minute event called Dive into Ghost in the Shell at the Annecy International Film Festival in France. And only a few days later, on June 26th, they finally had a theatrical screening of the first 2 episodes in the UK and Ireland. The marketing is as vital as the creativity for this project, because it's going to make history by adopting the full-scale manga energy for the first time. And I absolutely love the fact that Moko-chan and the producer Kohei Sakita are extremely focused on retaining the original essence of the manga. Our mindset from the start was to take the overwhelming energy of the original manga and turn it into a truly magnificent piece of animation, said Moko-chan at the Annecy Film Festival's event. So one thing is for sure, no matter how challenging it might sound to adapt an entire large manga and fit it into one anime series, Moko-chan is quite confident in what he and his team have done. And nothing was more reassuring than when the director himself said, "We pushed through it with pure grit." Visual style, music, and what makes this version stand out. The 1995 film's bleak and philosophical tone matched with its desaturated, muted colors. But that's definitely not happening here, based on what we saw in the trailer. Color designer Satoshi Hashimoto and compositing director Hikari Ito used rich, highly saturated colors for a more futuristic cybernetic world that immediately gives away that humanity is on the cusp of survival. We've already seen the character designs by Shuhei Handa, as well as the entire world building of the series designed by art director Emi Katonosaka and Osamu Masuyama, that made the world of Ghost in the Shell seem so ethereal. The locations feel nostalgic, and the alleys and the roads look like actual remnants of a city caught in the middle of a ubiquitous cyber war. But the fact that almost the entirety of the visual aesthetic is coming from Shirow's original manga is what intrigues me. Also, I can't go on without mentioning the soundtrack, because this is not the soundtrack you've heard in previous films and series. The musical team has gone above and beyond to bring some really innovative tracks that can be heard in the opening score of the trailer and the ending theme. Blue by Millennium Parade, featuring a collaboration between Saya Gray and Daniel Caesar, which you can also hear in the recently released promos of the series. Go check it out and bless your ears. Reschedule, platforms, and how Season 1 is rolling out. Ghost in the Shell Season 1 is finally ready to start broadcasting from July 7th, 2026. It'll premiere in Japan on Tuesday, July 7th at 11 to 11:30 p.m. JST on the Kansai TV and Fuji TV networks, as part of the new programming block called Carnival. And for the international audiences, the anime will become available to stream on Amazon Prime, with the option of both English dub and English sub. However, in certain countries like mainland China, Russia, and Vietnam, the anime will not be available on Amazon Prime. interviews, creator quotes, and early controversies or fan debates. When they first revealed the initial look of the upcoming series, fans went berserk, but there were some discussions within the community that we can't really ignore. First of all, I was ecstatic to see the actual Fuchikoma think tanks making a more prominent appearance in this anime adaptation, and I also love the subtle nod to the classic humor you'd only find in the manga, hinted in the trailer. Even though after the international premiere, some fans online have criticized the show's comedic elements, they need to remember that this time the anime is going to be closely adapted from the manga, which had a bunch of witty moments, while still remaining deeply philosophical. Moko-chan also revealed in a comment, while the source material is sci-fi, it's also a deeply spiritual work, which already clears up the confusion that the series will not orbit around a specific genre. It will blend cyberpunk, humor, maybe dark humor, and a dystopian style of philosophy. This combination will most definitely feel like the moment when you first turn the pages of the manga to dive into the world of Ghost in the Shell. Where does this fit in the Ghost in the Shell legacy, and what should fans expect? Kenji Kamiyama's standalone complex was very political and procedural, while the Arise OVA was basically a prequel-based series, so I think you're not going to find any kind of shady links with the previous series except for some references and Easter eggs. If you're desperate to see the sharp humor of Shirow's manga finally unfolding on screen, then the series will be an ultimate treat for you. Apart from that, the die-hard fans of the manga can literally see the parallel between Shirow's original work and the visuals of the series. As I already said before while discussing the trailer, strong teamwork is going to be one of the show's many highlights. Major isn't quite a loner here, but she's fully backed by her Section 9 coworkers. The scenes are going to be expressive like you've seen in the manga, and of course, get ready to enjoy Fuchikoma think tanks appearing on the screen for the first time ever. And that's all. The closer we get to the premiere, I grow more restless for the show to finally release. The trailer has also built high anticipation, and I just know that the series will deliver what's promised. If you enjoyed the breakdown of the production details of the series, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, let us know about your own expectations for the series down in the comments. Until then, goodbye, and see you in the next one.